Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Are you ready?
I'm ready, yeah.
Okay, I start this week. At least I sound sick. Like, if somebody at the bank think I'm not sick, I'm gonna send them to
You've
the
got
surgery.
video proof by now.
I got video proof. Anyway, okay. Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where you get to follow along as we build products in public. Each week, we'll give you an honest peek into our lives as we share our struggles, our wins, and everything in between. I'm Benedicta, and I'm feeling sick.
And I'm Benedict. Today is April 18th. This is episode number 177, and I'm feeling productive. And
Well,
let me tell you, you also
good
sound
for
sick.
you. I do sound sick. I mean, yes, no, not yes, but I also did, yeah, because I had to call in sick for my bank job, and I was like in on the couch all Thursday last week. So it's been like I thought I would be done with this by now, but this cold is just sitting really hard. But anyway, and then I announced my outside job like properly on that Thursday, and I was like, on my couch, like talking to people online all day, and I was like, this feels, like I definitely know I can't like substantially code or like do any substantial code, but it's gonna be fine. It's fine just talking to people online, right? It's a different mindset, mind game. See, I can't do it. And then we did the stream that night, and I was like, I also sounded really sick on that. So I was like, this is good because then nobody thinks I'm like faking calling like fake calling in sick.
Yeah.
um yeah, and then on stream I had problems doing a for loop, and I was like, okay, I feel pretty good about my decision not to you know bill somebody 7 hours for coding today, because
Hmm.
if I'd done that, it wouldn't have been especially well done code, I guess. But yeah,
Right.
so
So, is that how it works? Like, if you don't work, you don't get paid?
well, I can always, like, if I get sick, like now I should probably, because I have my own company. So I'm now living in Norway. If I'd gotten a doctor's note, I could have gotten, a sick leave from my own company and then gotten paid
Right.
from the government like that. But, or not really, because the employer has to cover the first 14 days, and I am my own
Right.
employer. So, but this has had happened before. I don't know if you want to go down this rabbit hole, but I should know by now that I should just go, because it turns out if you're sick again and again, then the employer's responsibilities kind of like they put them together. So even if you're well for a couple of weeks and then you get sick again, there's some rules and I don't remember them. But
Hmm.
since I had a concussion and then the stomach bug and then this cold, like, at some
Hmm.
point I might have been able to start getting getting some sick money from the government. But then you think like, oh, it's gonna pass, it's gonna pass so fast, it doesn't really matter. But if this happens again, I'm gonna be running to the doctor the first day and be like, this can't be happening.
Yeah, yeah, that makes
So
sense.
yeah, spring is coming. No, I shouldn't say that, because then it starts snowing. Spring is not coming. But yeah, but back to you, because you're doing good.
Yeah. Yeah, spring is coming for sure. We had some nice weather like Monday to Friday last week, and then Saturday and Sunday. Of course, weather was shitty.
Yeah.
It always feels like I don't get much nice weather on the weekend. Anyways, yeah, last week has been good, mostly playing catch up on stuff. Um, but I feel like I'm on top of everything again. So this week, we are planning to roll out the new reporting feature to all of our customers. No splashy marketing launch or anything just yet, but enabling the feature flag for everyone. It's on the roadmap for basically for Friday or something like that. There's only a handful of things we need to do. And the one thing I'm working on is basically up until now, like all of the reporting we had was basically showing totals in tables and stuff like that. So when you'd see a list of broadcasts, you'd see, hey, this is the total number of broadcasts or messages sent. This is the total number of clicks. This is the total number of opens, and so on. And this is still, as of today, still backed by that old implementation. And my task for this week is getting that data from the new implementation, so we can basically rip out the old implementation, which, yeah, it's basically doing the same thing, but on a way coarser level, just on the totals. And what's cool is, and that was an idea by Leo in the early days of this project, is we store the data at different resolutions, so at different granularity. So we store stuff minutely, and then we do a roll up to daily. And he had a clever idea of rolling up by infinity, basically. So instead of having a timestamp in that third table, we're just like grouping by message source, like broadcast or campaign message. And then the roll up is on everything ever, which is the current number, like it's the current total of messages delivered and stuff like that. So it was actually pretty easy to get that built in, because like we have the system where like data enters into the finest resolution, and then it gets flushed into like the next one and the next one and the next one. And the last one in that list is now the infinity resolution, where you then get the current number. And because everything is real time and like calculated, it's always the exact number of records for that particular type in the database, and the exact number of clicks and all of that. So that's pretty exciting, because it's basically a side effect of the way we built this. And now it's just a matter of getting that data surfaced in the tables. But because it's now a separate table with foreign keys to the source tables, in theory it's just a join. So when we get like 20 broadcasts, we can join that with the totals table, and we get to broadcasts and their current real-time numbers. So that's kind of exciting, and that's what I'm building this week, or integrating this week. And then we are done and ready to ship this. And I'm happy that it's finally done.
But it sounds like you landed on something you're very happy with.
Yeah, for the most part, I think the solution is pretty nice. I'm still wrestling with the implementation details a little bit. I feel like it would be cool to spend like another week or 2 or maybe 3 on cleaning this up even more. But it's at the stage where I can't justify spending more time on it anymore. Like, it's doing what it's doing. It's good enough implementation wise. Like, it's still pretty clean code. It's manageable in the sense that we can work with that in the future and like make changes to it, and it's not like too overwhelming. But we talked about this, clean code and elegant code makes me happy. So there's always stuff to improve, I guess. But yeah,
Maybe
I
the
know that
t-shirt
I should
shouldn't
stop
be
now.
maybe the t-shirt shouldn't be clean code makes me happy. It should be clean code makes Benedict happy, and then listeners of Slow and Steady can walk around with clean code makes Benedict happy t-shirts.
Yeah, maybe that's a way to do it. Yeah, but money in the
rock that
bank makes me
t-shirt
happy as
next.
well. So
Yeah.
I'd rather spend time on something else.
Yes.
So
well,
yeah,
if people buy lots of these t-shirts, then they get money in the bank as well.
Yes, true.
Hands up, everyone who wants a clean code makes Benedict. If you want a clean code makes Benedict happy t-shirt or sticker, let me know in a DM on Twitter, and I might make it happen.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the main thing I'm working on this week. And then the other thing we started thinking about is, how do we launch this for real? And the tricky thing is, with this particular feature, it feels like this is not a feature that we can make a big buzz about. Like, for example, when we introduced the marketing feature, like, it made sense to go to Twitter and be like, hey, you can now do marketing email with user list and stuff like that. But with this particular feature, it almost feels like table stakes in the sense that if we launch it, make a big fuss about it, then people would just be like, wait, what? This wasn't a part of the product from day one. At least that's what it feels like. And maybe I'm wrong about that.
But you did have
But
something. You have some
we
reporting.
had something, yeah. Like
What
we
about
just didn't have like fancy reporting.
Yeah, but what about doing like, screenshot comparisons? Like, this is what we had, this is what we have now. Like, look at, make it like an improvement kind of thing instead of oh my God, we now have reporting, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But if you have like, oh, look at this beautiful reporting but you still feel like that's, everybody else already has beautiful reporting, and it would feel weird that you're.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely, no matter what, we're not going to do a product hunt launch about it. That's
No, I'm just thinking little like tweets.
You've got a point.
Where
yeah. We should, yeah, and that's something we've been thinking about as well. Like instead of phrasing it or announcing as we now have reporting, announce it as we have better reporting, improved reporting, like more detailed reporting. So yeah, this is something we are considering. And then the other thing I've been thinking about is, because in itself it's not as fancy of a feature, maybe I should write a blog post about how we built this and the solution we came up with to implement this, because I feel like at some stage almost all companies, at least companies that deal with some sort of data or some sort of analytics, or I don't know, will run into the problems we've been running into. And this might make up for an interesting article that then maybe doesn't get like super targeted traffic in terms of people reading the blog post will not be signing up for user list right away, but they might be working at the company that might be and I think
it's one of those that builds trust, that the engineering behind it is good, and that you can trust the numbers you're getting from user list because you've made such a thoughtful process, and then explaining that in the blog post. I think you're right that if developers working for companies looking into more expensive emailing, not more, but like high-end, I guess, user list, it's like high-end emailing solutions, then are like, this fits into the brand, right? It's not it's not the cheap free ConvertKit. It's like the really good one, and I read that their reporting is like on point and to be trusted, and like I think it fits with the brand that you write it up.
So that's one thing we've been thinking about. Honestly, we've been planning to write like more technical content since basically day one, and it never happened. Like there's not always been something else. But this one feels like it might be a good candidate. For one, like it's not core product. Like it's not like we're giving away trade secrets of sorts. I mean, sure, yeah. Like I'm proud of this implementation, and it's better than other implementations. But if someone implements the same thing in their product, it's not going to make or break our position in the market, I guess. And the other thing is, I will be speaking at Rails SaaS in Athens in June, and I'm not sure I even mentioned that, but maybe I did.
No. Oh, maybe.
But my plan is to talk about this particular thing, so I've got to write it up somehow, anyways.
Yeah,
so it feels like this is an opportunity to
it's good practice.
And if you do it, a blog post and a talk from this one,
and if you do it now, at least for me, it would have been a good process to be like, okay, I'm gonna have this blog post out by the end of April, because then you've kind of written all your thoughts, and then it will mature for a month, and then you craft your talk. It's going to be a much more mature version of whatever you wrote, just by virtue of the time Yeah, you don't even have to
Yeah.
like work on it. You just by virtue of there being that time and you started that process, it's gonna end up being better.
Yeah. That's the thinking. So yeah, there's a decent chance we'll just do that because it just makes sense. Especially like if I don't start working on that talk now by writing down things, I will be starting from scratch in May or
Yeah.
end of May, and that's probably not a good thing. So better start it now while it's still top of mind.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna be on lookout for it. End of April. You get a gold star if it's out before the end of April.
I try, no promises, but
I don't know if you are motivated
yeah.
by emoji gold stars, but I'll hand it to you if you have it out by the end of April.
Yeah, but that also means it's just a week, right? Because this
Oh my
week I
god,
will be
is
finishing
April
up the
almost
feature, and
over?
then
Oh.
next week is already the last week of April. So
Okay.
yeah, time moves fast. So, but then again, I
Time
mean,
does move fast.
in theory, a week should be plenty to do this. But that assumes that nothing else is happening, and I can focus on just this for a day or two.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But it also means that maybe you
you're
can
probably
just
right
write it
that we should.
down. And as you said, like I don't think, or as you said, it's not going to be like it's not where you're going to get the super targeted traffic.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be the bestest blog post there has ever been. It just needs to be your thought on the subject. And then you can go back after the talk and refine it, because then you probably have gotten questions, at RailsConf. SAS, right? Rails.
Right, SAS, yeah.
Rails SAS. I should just not talk today. It's
well, maybe we should just wrap this up and make this a super short episode.
Super short. I just want to say though that I did the Outside announcement last week about being a developer advocate, which I landed on as my title, and then that unlocked a memory from like 4.5 years ago. I had to go in and find the Facebook event because it was the university reunion. So I went to 2 classes at university, and kind of the first class I was that I or 2 years. So that the first year that I did most of my university degree with, we had a reunion, and you had to like end these sentences. And maybe I said this last time, and that's how I remembered it. But anyway, and then I remembered like, oh, it's 4.5 years ago. I wrote, in 5 years I'll be a developer advocate, which is kind of insane. Did I tell this story last time?
You told the story last time, yeah.
Yes, but I had to check the date though, because I don't think I remembered the date. And I went in and found the Facebook event, and it was 4.5 years ago to the day, which was I thought that was kind of interesting. But anyway, so that's the universe for you. Mm-hmm. Are you going to, or do we know anything about MicroConf Europe this year?
I think it's again in autumn, like October or something like that.
Yeah, but
I think it's beginning of October, and I think it's in Lisbon.
Okay, nice.
And
because now I'm gonna go.
Anything,
now I have a reason to go, like a proper reason to go.
Yes.
And I have so much FOMO from the people who are doing MicroConf US right now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Good thing I'm not on Twitter that much anymore. So I basically miss everything. But yeah, MicroConf Europe. I haven't made any plans yet, but if I can make it happen, I will make it happen because I mentioned it so many times. It's my favorite conference these days. So definitely planning to go.
Yeah. But I guess that's it. I was thinking that this would energize me and I could do a video, but I don't think my brain will be able to record a video right now. So I'm going to go back.
It didn't work.
I mean, I feel energized, but I don't know if I will be coherent enough for a video.
Yeah, maybe not a good idea.
So I think I'll go back to resting today, and hopefully feel better by the end of this week. That would have been great.
Yeah, please get well soon and fast, and have a nice rest of your week.
Thank you. You too, and see you around the interwebs. Bye.
Bye.